McDaniels returned to the Pats as offensive coordinator in 2012, and after that, the team finished in the top 5 in scoring offense in 7 straight years. He had one bad year with Cam Newton under center, but recovered nicely this year with the 6th-ranked scoring offense. Let's roll, presented by Town Fair Tire, and bring in the big boy, Greg Bedard from Boston Sports Journal. How big of a loss is this for the Patriots offense?
It's pretty big. I mean, look, it depends on who they get to come in. I mean, if it's Bill OBrien, then I'm fine. It's pretty seamless. He can step into what Josh McDaniels does as basically the head coach of the offense, coach up, Mac Jones, give Bill Belichick the ability to get his hands dirty with defense and special teams, which have been more of a mess this season. And so it's a big loss, but it depends on how much it is on who replaces him.
Do we have any indication that O'Brien wants this? Because last night, Chris Gasper surprised me by saying, why would Bill O'Brien want to come here? This wouldn't enhance his resume. He'd be much better off staying in Alabama. I don't know if I fully agree, but you tell me.
I don't have any indication either way. I mean, from the people that I've talked to around the team, it would be an upset if it's not Bill O'Brien. I mean, if you're Bill O'Brien, I don't know how coming back to the Patriots, doing what Josh McDaniels did. And Josh McDaniels had chances earlier to leave, and he didn't. Bill O'Brien, you come back here and take off with Mac Jones in year 2 and a lot of these weapons in year 2, you could be having head coach interviews in 1 year.
No question. I can't think of a college offensive coordinator who does well in college, and then NFL teams say, you're the OC of this great college program, let's bring you in. It's usually the head coach.
How'd that work for Brian Daboll at Alabama?
But Daboll,
what if the college team is better?
But maybe. But I think it's a great opportunity for him if he does want to get back into the game. And I always mention this, and we're so jaded because, hey, okay, all the money is funny and it's silly money. For these guys, it's a big deal. And Greg, you know this. Look, you're a head coach now. Head coaching salaries are through the roof in college football and in the pros. And so now, Josh McDaniels, just for example, I don't know, they didn't release the numbers today. He's probably in somewhere between $8.5 and $10 million a year.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
And so if Bill O'Brien comes here, 1-2 good years, you're right back in that program as a head coach making a ton of money.
How would he work with Mac Jones, do you think? Because he's a different personality than Josh McDaniels.
He is, but, I think the world of Bill O'Brien. I spent a lot of time. I went down there when I was at Sports Illustrated, did a behind-the-scenes story and saw him, how he interacted with the players, how he game planned, all that stuff. And I think he'd be really good. Yes, he's a little bit fiery. Of course, he's matured a little bit, just like Josh McDaniels did. But I think he would be really great for Mac. They already have a relationship. Mac Jones helped teach Bill O'Brien the Alabama offense before Mac came to the Patriots. So I think it'd be great. I think he would be the perfect guy for the job.
And you think about it. Mac Jones in college had Nick Saban as his head coach. Mm-hmm. Now Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels for a little bit. Bill O'Brien, like nothing. This is what I expect.
His high school coach was a tough SOB too.
I'd be a little nervous about a player's coach kind of guy for Mac Jones in year 2.
He'd push him.
He likes tough coaching. He's used to it.
O'Brien's resume here is terrific. He was the Pats offensive coordinator for 1 season, officially. Back in 2011, right? That team's offense was legit. Brady threw for over 5,000 yards that season, 39 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Welker and Gronkowski both had career years. Welker almost had 1,600 receiving yards. Gronkowski finished with over 1,300 to go along with 17 touchdowns. Aaron Hernandez had 79 catches for 9-10, 7 touchdowns as the second tight end in that offense.
But
obviously,
Mike, if Wes Welker had one more catch, though.
One more is all they needed.
One more catch.
One more is all they needed.
Mike, you know what's interesting about that ensemble in 2011? That was built off of 2009 and their failures there, and they did an offseason study that year. Bill O'Brien was involved with Bill Belichick, and they basically said, we need to get out of shotgun, gun runs, stuff like that. We need to get under center, 2 tight ends. Bill O'Brien was part of putting that in, and so, that was a critical time for this Patriots franchise.
And I think we should point out, Bill O'Brien, if you look at the Bill Belichick tree, and I don't think Mike Vrabel is tree adjacent.
Yes,
I don't think he's
agreed.
Off the tree. Mm-hmm. So if you think about all the guys who have become head coaches, I think Bill O'Brien has been the most successful member of the Bill Belichick coaching tree. So this is a guy who knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy, speaks the language, is a good teacher. The only question is, can they get him? Not because Alabama is a better job. I just don't know where he is right now in his life. Is he just comfortable there in college football? I don't know. But if they can get him, I think it's a good transition.
Okay, Greg, the loss of Dave Ziegler. Are people not paying enough attention to this one? Is this a big one?
I would say that's fair. I mean, look, they have Elliott Wolf there in-house to sort of take over if they don't bring in somebody back, whether it's Scott Pioli or Bob Quinn or Thomas Dimitroff or somebody like that. But Dave Ziegler, when Nick Caserio left, one of the bonuses for him, and I think we saw it this year, was that I kept being told Ziegler won't be afraid to voice his opinion to Belichick. And I think that was a concern of people when Caserio was here, that Nick sort of stood back and said, all right, well, didn't challenge Bill. Right. And so as Elliott Wolf, I've known Elliott Wolf for a while. I covered him with the Packers. I like him. He's really smart, not the most confrontational guy. So I would say he's more in the Caserio mold than the Ziegler mold.
Okay, here's another thing that was brought up last night, and that is in the last couple of years, both Ziegler and most notably McDaniels had chances to leave. Mm-hmm. The Patriots made big efforts to bring him back, okay? Probably pay raises. They made a pitch. Come back, we want you back. Come back, come back, come back. Now they go, and the Pats really don't put up a fight. And what's the difference between now and a couple of years ago? And that is the presence of Matt Patricia. The guys last night were wondering, did McDaniels and Ziegler read the writing on the wall? Patricia has the ear of the Crafts. He has the ear of Bill Belichick. He's been doing a lot of stuff in personnel. Did those guys see that Patricia really has more power than we think, and maybe has a line on some things here coming up?
I don't think it has anything to do with Patricia. For me, McDaniels in Indianapolis, at the end of the day, him and the general manager there just didn't, the more he thought about it, they didn't see eye to eye on the way things should be constructed. And the Patriots came to him and made it easy for him to come back. I think it was more about, with McDaniels retaining him and also Ziegler, at the time, there was no plan B if they left. I mean, if Josh McDaniels left a year ago, they would have been screwed at offensive coordinator. With a rookie quarterback, would not know. They have the quarterback now. Bill OBrien is there in their hip pocket, most likely. And now with Ziegler, Elliott Wolf has at least been here in a certain amount of time, so they feel comfortable, trained him. To me, it's more about succession plans than anything else. They have options now.
Okay. The scary thing is that Patricia's part of those plans. That's all I'm trying to tell you.